Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things card games and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I'm going to go through the Okayu reveals for the upcoming start deck for Hololive OCG. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoy what we do here, please let me know by hitting that like button, and please feel free to become a member by hitting that join button down below, and check out my other socials on Twitch, on X, and on Discord. Those links are in the description. But let's jump straight in. So in today's video, I want to be covering my OSHI start deck, Nekomata Okayu, and all the cards that we have so far for her. Now, first and foremost, I can't tell you how excited I am the fact that my girl Okayu is finally getting some cards in the game, but not only that, actually getting her own start deck. I am incredibly excited. All we need now is Coronet. Give me Coronet? Of course, starting with the OSHI Holomem card for Okayu. Now, as I mentioned in my video covering IMA's cards, the OSHIs for these start decks for set 2 are very reminiscent of the cheer set OSHIs, which they're not the best, I'm not gonna lie, and I can't imagine them seeing much play. However, it's Okayu. I'm gonna see if I can use it, and her OSHI skill is for 2 holo power during this turn. If your center holomem is blue, its arts gain additional 20 power for the turn, and her SP OSHI skill is that when one of your blue holomems deals damage to one of your opponent's back holomems, you may pay 1 and you may deal an additional 50 special damage to that holomem. And let's be honest, it is just the worst Suisei from set 1. I'd rather run the Suisei. I hate to say it. Moving swiftly on to the debuts, of course we start with our unlimited debut. 100 HP, 30 power for a single colourless cheer. It's kind of good actually, like it's a decent debut unlimited card. Onto the 2 collab debuts. The first one has, if your center holomem has gamers, you can deal 10 special damage to your opponent's center holomem and one of their back holomems, and if they are down, they don't lose life. And it has a single blue cheer art for 10 power. Actually, not horrific. And if you are running a gamer's deck, I could see Okayu running extremely well with Fubuki. Genuinely, this card is not horrific at all. And the other collab debut has the collab effect. You may reveal the top card of your deck, and if that is a debut or spot holomem, you send the top card of your cheer deck to this holomem. And then you get to put the card that you revealed onto the bottom of your deck. And it also has a 20 power art with 1 any color cheer. I'm not sure how to rate this card. Like, the cheer ramp is nice. The unpredictability of the cheer ramp really is not. I would rather have, for example, ASCII, which has, you know, a 4 or lower requirement, or the Kobo debut collab, which has a 3 or higher requirement. In a deck, you are running between 13 and 16 debuts, maybe 2 or 3 spots. In a 50 card deck, when you're already going to have drawn some debuts, given the nature of the game, and you know you wanted to play debuts from turn 1, you're not going to have that many options or opportunities to actually cheer ramp with this, and you have to be extremely lucky. Unless we get some potential deck manipulation and there is a combination with Okayu in blue and purple, maybe, as we've seen that purple from what we've seen so far, and I'm going to be talking about Choco and her start deck in my next video. I genuinely don't know how this card will work, and I'm not convinced. It seems too high rolly, even for my liking. Moving on to our first blooms, our vanilla, the Okayu first bloom. It has 2 attacks. It has a single any color cheer for 30 damage attack, and it also has a 1 blue, 1 any color for 50 art, and it has 170 HP. So I've been comparing this to the ASCII from the original start deck, which has 160 HP, and it only has the 2 cheer 50 attack. So in my opinion, this card is kind of good. For a vanilla first bloom, this is really good. I definitely see, you know, if you're playing a gamer's deck and you need a blue vanilla first bloom, like, this card is actually kind of nice. It also looks kind of good.
Bonk, bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk. ということだね。
Our next first bloom has 2 attacks. So the first one is just a single blue cheer for 30 damage. And then the second art has a 1 blue, 1 any color requirement for 40 damage. And it has the secondary effect that you may archive 1 blue cheer from this holomem to deal 10 special damage to your opponent's center holomem and one of their back holomems. To be able to do that, and there is some good cheer regeneration, I guess, from archive, and I hope that there'll be more in the main set as well. This card could actually see some play, and it really isn't that bad, especially given that it's got 140 HP as well. Like, this card is good, I think. The idol outfit Okayu has a bloom effect where you get to send a cheer from your archive to one of your gamer's holomems. It's talking about, you know, getting access to that cheer in your archive. This card does that very well. And it has a secondary attack where it's just for 1 any color, 20 damage with 110 HP as well. Again, this card is going to be pivotal if you are going to be doing a lot of cheer archiving, especially if you're running a gamer's deck. Again, looking at Okayu Fubuki here, we know we're going to see some Mio cards. We know we're going to see, hopefully, well, we're not going to see any Korone cards in set 2, but we should see some in set 3. There is a potential for this card to be really, really good for cheer ramp, especially if you're able to archive cheers early on. I like this card. I really like this card. And finally, we have Okayu Buzz First Bloom. Her gift effect is that if she is in your center position, your Louis, Mio, Fubuki, Laplace, and Korone's arts get 20 additional power. So that obviously affects your collab zone, which is fine. And additionally 20 power, as long as you've got viable cards to go there. Again, at the moment, mainly looking at Fubuki and Mio. There is some potential there, but honestly, the bit that lets it down is its secondary attack, which just for 1 blue and 1 any color, it's just a vanilla 60 damage attack. I wish this attack had an effect with it to make it worthwhile, even similar to Buzz Zeta, where, you know, it was a 60 damage, and then if your center holomem is gamers, this does an additional 60 damage or 50 damage, something like that. I think would make this card a lot better. It's designed to be a center position holomember. I honestly, as much as I want to run this card and I want it to be good, I just don't think it is, sadly. And the final Okayu card is her second bloom, where it's got 2 arts, both of which have advantage against white holomems, which is kind of good, especially in the current meta. Looking at you, Promise, and looking at you, Kanata. It's got a 1 blue, 1 any color for 60 damage, and it's also got a 2 blue, 2 any color, so 4 cheers to do 100 damage, and you may archive 2 blue cheers from this holomem for the following effect. Deal 30 special damage to your opponent's center holomem and one of their back holomems, and they can take life if you do down one of their holomembers. The only downside to this card, in my opinion, is that it's only 190 HP. When you look at something similar, you're looking at the likes of Suisei, that has 210 base. The only thing that warrants the lower HP is going to be her mascot, which I'm going to be covering later. I want to say this card will work. I'm just not sure. I hope it works. Moving on to the spots, we have a Korone and we have a Laplace. The Korone has the collab effect. If your center holomem is Okayu, you may reveal a fan or mascot from your deck and put it to your hand and then shuffle your deck. So this spot's kind of really good, providing that Okayu is good enough to worth run it. So I hope it is. And it's cool that Korone's already got a card. I just think that obviously down the line she'll need more support in set 3 when we hopefully get yellow cards. She also has a single colorless cheer art for 30 damage, which is kind of nice, and 70 HP. It's not the worst we've seen on a spot. I think I'm okay with this. And then the Laplace has 2 arts with 60 HP, which isn't a lot. She has a 1 colorless cheer art for 10 damage and a second 2 colorless cheer art for 20 damage. And if you have 2 or less cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. This would be fine if it was maybe draw until you have 4 cards in your hand, or it had 80 or 90 HP. I don't think this card is going to get run much at all, to be honest. I'm just not convinced. Moving on to our support cards, we have the Dorobo Construction Gravity Event, if you will. Again, if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, excluding this, you can play it, and then top 4, add any Okayu, Louis, Mio, Fubuki, Laplace, or Coronet among those, put them to your hand, and put the rest in the bottom of your deck. Again, I've said this in the last video, gravity events are good. It's just a shame they've done this, and then they've also got a Gamers one that they've revealed for the main set, which is basically this exactly minus Laplace minus Louis. Why bother with the Gamers one? We also have the mascot Okayu, which the Holo member, this is attached to whenever they take damage while in the center or collab position, it takes 10 less damage. That's kind of nice. And then if this mascot is attached to a Okayu, it gains the following effect: when the Holo member with this mascot attached archives a cheer as part of their ability or arts, you may archive this mascot instead of one of the cheers. I kind of like this. I think this card makes Okayu more viable. Yeah, I think this mascot is good. And again, it's a mascot. We're seeing a lot of mascots. This card with the Fubuki engine, I think this is going to be really strong. And the final Okayu themed card is Onigiriya. So this is the fan of the start deck, and the Holomem with this fan attached gets plus 10 HP, and it can only be attached to an Okayu. I don't think it's worth playing, and honestly, the only reason why you might play it is if you are doing a fan-based deck and you are touching blue, and therefore you want to go Polka Okayu. Feels a bit janky. I genuinely think you're better off doing mono red as it stands at the moment and not trying to mix colors. People have tried experimenting with Polka Suisse. It's not as consistent as Polka Chiara. I'm not sold by this card. Unless we get more fan support, I don't like this card. And as with the IMA deck, this will get 20 blue cheers because it is a mono blue deck. And that's all the Okayu themed card. Now there are cards, and same with the IMA deck, there are cards that haven't been revealed, which I believe at some point I will be covering Choco's cards. As of the point of recording, we're still waiting for a few cards for the Choco deck, so I can do a similar style video to this for Choco as well. But overall, I'm happy with the start decks. I'm happy that Okayu's got something, which is better than some Holomems at the moment. I'm sorry for those whose Holomems aren't in the game yet, but I'm sure they will be very, very soon. And, you know, I am as excited for you as I was waiting for Okayu, so I hope it happens sooner rather than later for you. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. Check out my other socials on Twitch, X, and on Discord. Those links are down below. And if you would like to support the channel, please consider joining and becoming a member by hitting that join button down below. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!